Alright guys, now we're going to set up the servo control horn so we can get our control rods installed. This is what your control rods look like. They're the beefiest, short carbon fiber rods that come in the kit. Okay, this uses a single servo for your aileron, where the 39 uses two servos. Okay, so basically you take your control horn and you want to get it on a tooth that's closest to being 90 degrees square to the center line of the wing. Okay, obviously we can't go in and program it digitally because I don't have a digital programmer, and I don't think they make a digital programmer for these type of servos. So you have to go into your sub trim after you get it close as you can. It looks like we're off one tooth. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and use sub trim to center it up, and I'm looking straight down on the model until I think it is square. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but you want it to be, pretty darn close. Alright, it ended up being 62 on a spectrum. In order to do that, obviously you're going to have to set up your receiver. So I temporarily just let it hang until I get my motor, ESC, and everything. I won't know where to mount the receiver, and we'll show that later. So that's it. That's how you center up your control horn with sub trim, and my thinking behind it before we set up the control arms. Thanks. Alright, so I'm going to explain to you guys how these control rods work. Okay, you're going to have two for the ailerons, and then you're going to have two long skinny ones for the elevator and rudder. Okay, so the way it works is you have a clevis side, and then you have a little pin. That pin goes through the clevis and through the control horn to secure this to the horn. So you clamp that in and kind of push it together with some needle nose. Now this end just slips in, okay, and you glue this, okay. You'll glue that tight with some CA, okay. Now sand up your end with some sandpaper. But before you do that, you want to basically get it to the length it needs to be, because this side gets a brass adjustment screw. Okay, this will slip inside on the brass, okay. So the brass slips over the end of it, but it needs to be the right length. So you'll test fit it till it's the right length. And this clevis, what it does is it screws down on that threaded brass end after you've glued it, and it gives you the ability to adjust your control rod, okay? And then again, you pin it with the clevis. You pin the clevis with this little brass pin, okay? Do that on both sides to make sure that they're the right length, so everything fits up. Now the long ones, they're going to run through some wooden supports that are different lengths, so it keeps this skinny flexible rod straight, so it will slide back and forth. And what you're going to do is this side has the same thing as this, but this is a smaller one. It's designed to fit a thinner brass, a thinner carbon fiber rod, so that will be glued into one end, and that's your adjustment clevis side, and it holds together with a pin. This side, okay, these clevises are all the same, and it's too big a diameter. If you just stuck this in there, let's see here. If you stuck that in there, it would just wallow around in the hole. So what you end up doing is you use these little spacers, these space it out, and then this will go inside and make up the gap. Okay, so slip the white into the black clevis and then slim your carbon fiber in, and then glue that all down. Okay, again, you need to get the right lengths, and you do that by securing one side, not the brass side but the other side. Just go ahead and glue this on and mount that side without the pin to the plane, and then kind of fit everything up and determine where you need to cut these rods, and when they're the right length, you glue everything up at once. So that's it. That's the control rods explained, and hopefully you understand what I'm trying to tell you. Talk to you later.